WAB. What was just the message in the locker room after this game?
I mean, we just got to end up finding a way down the stretch. We tied it up a couple times late, but we just didn't make the extra play, get a stop to be able to take the lead. And we got to find a way to win. We got to figure it out soon. So.
Did you guys feel like you got the looks you wanted offensively in the last 2 or 3 minutes?
Yeah, I feel like we got good looks. We missed some free throws down the stretch, missed some shots, but, I mean, at the end of the day, we just got to step up and hit them.
Jaden, for you, or shot proposed. Jaden, for you had 20 tonight. Just what was working for you inside? Obviously, you guys the free throw line, 14 free throws tonight. Just what was working for you on offense tonight?
I mean, just being aggressive, attacking. I think these past couple games I've been hesitant, really not being myself or, helping my team with my play. So just wanted to step up, but didn't step up enough. Missed a lot of free throws down the stretch. So just come in tomorrow and shoot 100, 200 free throws, figure it out.
Looking at it in mid-major basketball, obviously close losses like this will always sting, but Coach Bowles has preached time and time again that this tough non-conference schedule has been toughen you guys up. How do you feel you have responded to just the level of competition you faced through these first 5 games?
I mean, not well enough. We want to win. We're not just in the non-conference games just to play them. Like, we want to win. We 1-4 right now. That shouldn't reflect who we are. I mean, 2 of them games was really tough with St. Mary's and Louisville, but, I mean, them and then Arkansas State, we definitely should have, we had a couple plays down the stretch where we could have fixed it, but we just didn't. So we got to get back to the drawing board.
Grant Keeper, WAB, Pat, for as well as you played tonight, felt like the ball really wasn't in your hands for a big shot there down the stretch. What were your thoughts about, just the game plan going down the stretch, and, if you could do it over again, what do you think should have happened differently in terms of, you getting the ball in a big moment?
I mean, I did miss a shot late. We were down 3, but, I mean, trying to throw it inside. We had a play set up that was good. I mean, they drew up good plays, so I'm not really tripping. But
Now, hi, Andrew Woods, working for a class, and basically, I know tonight was Lung Cancer Awareness Night. Now, what does that night mean personally to you? I'm addressing both players in the room.
I mean, obviously Jason Preston is very big into that. So just stepping up for a cause and wearing the shirt, I mean, it means a lot to us to play for that. So it's just a cool deal on these type of nights.
I mean, we just wanted to honor, the people that have it or the people who have went through it and beat it. And, I can't say I've had anybody in my family that's had it. But, just stepping up for the people who have had it, supporting them and knowing that we got their back.
Thank you.
Pat, for you, the next game was 28. Just how confident do you feel right now with the ball in your hands on it?
I feel really confident, but that's just a testament to the guys around me feeding me confidence, the work I put in, but I haven't won those games, but I've done that yet. So just going to keep staying aggressive, still keep staying confident out there, looking for my shot, then just taking what the defense gives me.
How do you guys feel you defended tonight? Obviously, they have a lot of weapons, a lot of people who can score. Just how do you guys feel you played on the defensive side?
Not good enough. We ain't win, so we ain't defend well. Get back to the drawing board.
You guys came out and dominated on the glass early on. Obviously, that's been kind of a pinpoint for you guys in the earlier competition, but Jaden, it was really you and Aiden that kind of established that early on. What allowed you guys to get on the glass like you did today?
I mean, it's just a mentality. We just got to have a mentality to go get them, and once we get that mentality, I think we can grab whatever rebounds we want to. Obviously, we mentioned Jalen Breath. He's another person who can contribute to rebounding. And so, I mean, like I said, it's just a mentality, boxing out. But the key ones we didn't get tonight, so we got to be better.
Last question. Building off the defense thing, I think the last 3 games has been over 50% from the field on 3. On the opponent, I know JJ stepped in, played really, really well on defense. What do you guys think you guys need to do as a group to just
leave that to you.
I mean, it starts with transition defense. I mean, tonight we were getting killed in transition. And then, we had, like, plays down the stretch where lack of communication, no talk, guys on the other team get to what we don't want them to get to. So we just watch film, clean it up, and continue going forward.
I mean, we know we can guard. We guard against Illinois State, so back to the drawing board. We'll figure it out.
If you look at Wright State, if you look at Arkansas State, if you look at Illinois State, if you look at tonight, 4 common level opponents. We lost by 6 against Wright State, lost by 4 to Arkansas State, I believe, won by 4 against Illinois State, then lost tonight by 3. So, every possession for us is going to matter. And I think, every single person, myself included, can look back, throughout the course of a game. And, you might run a little bit harder, box out a little bit more, make a different, call, substitution. But we got to figure it out. And no one's going to feel sorry for us. The biggest thing when you go through adversity, staying together, stay positive. It's easy to be negative. It's easy to point fingers and blame other people. There's, no blame should be on anybody but me. And like I said, we're going to be a good team. And, I like our group. We just got to, we haven't figured it out yet. And, that was a good team that beat us, but, disappointed in the result.
Andrew Bowey, WAB, obviously not the result you want, but another close game that you guys have played. How valuable is it to have all these really tight games early in the season?
Yeah, I think, it's always better to learn from winning than losing. You can learn from both. And, I thought, we got ourselves in a big hole in the first half. And, when you do that, you give the other team confidence. I think we were down maybe 10-12 at some point, and, we fought back to cut it to, 8 at halftime. Got off to a good start second half, and I think we fought to get the lead in the second half. And every time we get close, we'd either give up a offensive rebound layup, give up an open 3, not finish at the rim. And, when you're in those situations, every, play you got to maximize. Every possession you got to maximize on. And I thought we got good looks, in the second half right at the rim. And they made a couple more plays than we did.
Logan Anderson, in major basketball. Obviously, close losses like this sting, but there was an intentionality with the way the schedule was crafted to get tough matchups out of the way. How do you feel your team has responded to that, regardless of the disappointed loss?
Yeah, that's like on me. I thought we'd be ready for it. And, you got to realize, I think we lost almost 70% of our offense last year. So, the guys that came back are stepping into new roles. And, the schedule is pretty difficult. Moving forward, you're playing an undefeated George Mason team Monday night. Then you play undefeated, Loyola Marymount or, Florida Atlantic. And then you got Marshall coming in. You got Maine coming in. You got, St. Bonaventure, who's undefeated. So, I think for us, we got to continue to stay together. We got to continue to work, most importantly. And, understand the value of every possession, because this team, probably more than most, doesn't have that margin for error that we might have had before. And, like I said, we just got to get better.
Charlie Fennell with the Post, Coach. 2 for 17 from 3 tonight. Last time we were here against Illinois State, obviously struggled with the 3 as well. Just what do you think is going into that problem?
Yeah, that's a good question. We've been like it all year. I think probably now we're shooting low 20s from 3. And, reps, you got to rep. You got to stay confident. You got to watch film to see why we're missing them. Because when you go 2 for 17, you're leaving a lot of points off the board. And, like I said, you can go back to the 6-point loss to Wright State, the 4-point win, the 4-point loss to Arkansas State, and tonight 3-point loss. That's one possession, right? So you make one of those, you're tied, maybe heading to overtime. You make 2, you probably win the game. So we got to look at it. Obviously, we got to stay confident, because shooting, when you shoot poorly, can get in your head a little bit. But we got to keep repping it and figure out where the shots are coming from, whether they're good shots, off-balance shots. But at some point, you got to step up and make a shot.
Investor. Pretty physical game tonight. You guys went to the free throw line 28 times. Bethune-Cookman used their bodies on a lot of offensive shots. Just how do you think your guys were able to respond to that level of physicality?
Yeah, coming in, we knew, we'd get to the foul line just by the way they play. And, I don't think we took a near enough advantage of it. I think we were 15 and a half minutes to go. I think we were in the one-on-one. And, we didn't, utilize that to our advantage. And, I'm not sure where we go, 12 or 17 the second half. So, you got to make one or two of those. You miss the front end of 1-on-1. Every possession matters. And when you come up empty like that, or 1 point out of 2 in a close game, those things add up.
Coach, Elmer at the post. Final minute of the game, J.J. Kelly forces a shot clock violation in a one-on-one matchup. Just what have you been seeing from him? What is he doing so well on defense?
Yeah, I really like his growth. He's an athletic, big wing for us who can defend, gives great energy, great effort level, and he's going to continue to earn minutes. Like tonight, Louisville, I thought he played really well. So just proud of his growth. Him personally, and it's going to help us through the course of the season.
Now, Andrew Woods working on a class project, student media. Now, this goes back to the theme night for tonight. Now, what does Lung Cancer Awareness Night mean to you, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Jason Preston, is dear to my heart. He and his wife. Jason's mom passed away of lung cancer, and he's a great ambassador for the American Cancer Society Lung Association, and he's fortunate enough to help us out with the shoes and the T-shirts to just bring awareness to it. And when you're that young and you lose your mom to something like that, he's got a great platform to use his voice and social media to help spread the word.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Grant, for WAB, kind of build back off the schedule thing. I mean, it almost feels like a carbon copy of last year where you load the schedule up, struggle out of the game. I mean, were there any lessons you learned last year that you can apply to this year? It's a different group, a little bit underrun somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, scheduling's like it's like Chinese Sudoku, man. It's like trying to find dates that match, and certain teams want to play, and you don't have the date to play, and figuring out how many home games to get, how many road games you need, how many bye games you need to bring money in. It's not an exact science, and I've always tried to challenge our guys, and certain years you might need to schedule differently than if you have a really good team coming back, and 2020 hindsight, I probably would have changed a few things, but it is what it is right now. So, like I said, no one's going to feel sorry for us. Our teams have always gotten better throughout the course of the year and season, and our goals are still ahead of us. We just can't let these losses compound and keep making the same mistakes. And when you have opportunity, you got to take advantage of them.
After the shot clock violation that JJ forced, the offense was down 3 with about 40 seconds left. But you guys weren't able to get a really efficient look. What did you make of the last couple possessions down the stretch?
Yeah, we thought about taking a timeout, but a lot of times when you're in a scramble mode like that, you tend to get a pretty good shot off of it, and didn't get it. Ball went out of bounds, so we called a timeout to draw up an inbounds play, and I didn't see if Shelley got fouled or not. I haven't watched the film yet, but obviously didn't make the shot. When you're down 3 like that, but it goes back to like 4.5 minutes to go, your tie game. You got to get that stop score, and you expend all that energy, and then you force a tough shot, and then they get an offensive rebound put back. Then we come down and score again. Now it's a tie game again, and I think Hetty hit a 3, put them up 3. So, those situations, you really got to buckle down and get the stop that you need. Come down, either get to the foul line. We got the ball, I thought, point blank between Simmons and Hadaway a couple times right at the rim. We missed them. You got to finish those, and we'll learn and we'll grow from it.
Coach Elijah came back today. Obviously, Sean wasn't falling, but came out great with aggression. Moving forward down the line, how important is his just growth and aggression on offense?
Yeah, I mean, he's a valuable piece to what we got going, and I think he missed a couple weeks, right? Didn't do a whole lot of practicing until this past Monday, Tuesday. And, he's going to get the rust off, and grow as the minutes happen and practice happens, and just got to keep getting better.
Second straight game, 28 points from Pav. He was near perfect tonight inside the arc until I think the second last possession. Just from your perspective, what does he do that makes him so efficient from the down low?
Yeah, he's a tough kid. Takes what's given to him. Puts a lot of pressure on the defense, and he's like a paint touch king. Like he's always getting downhill. Doesn't matter who we're playing. And you saw it against Louisville. You saw it again tonight. And when he puts a lot of that pressure on the defenses, it collapses them. That's where it hurts us when we're not making those threes, because normally we're getting threes in transition. and we're getting threes off of his paint touches. And we have not capitalized on that in the games that we've played. And, that's something that we're leaving out there that's still a big part of our offense, that we got to get back.
Tonight, Javen had his team higher most points this season. Did you feel like this was his best game of the early year?
Yeah, I thought he did some really good things. We're asking a lot, with Jalen Breath being out. We obviously miss him. We haven't had him for 3 games now. And, not sure when he'll be back. But, 32 minutes, it's like, it's a lot for him. But, we need Jalen Breath back to help, that tandem. Because when those two played against Illinois State, I think they had like 30 points and maybe 8 to 10 rebounds. And, it's a good two-headed monster for us.
Anything else? Thanks.
All right, appreciate y'all.